It was in a 2012 December. I think I was 29-year-old, almost 30, I think. So that was when I first ever trekked to Himalayas. I never like climbed anything. I never knew about anything, and so on this trail, obviously as you go through Namche Bazaar is a really nice village in the elevation. It's beautiful. If you haven't like been there, you should go, man. And as you walk past, you see a massive mountain called Amadablam, and it dominates the whole of the Kumbh Valley, and it's so beautiful. And I said to my guide, I was like, "Hey brother, is there any chance I can climb this?" And he laughed. He's like, "Nims, people who have climbed Everest give up on that mountain." I was like, "Oh, okay." But then I really wanted to feel that experience of how it feels like reaching to the summit of this mountain. So convinced him, and we're taught how to wear the crampons in this Lobuche village, roughly around 5,000 meters. And we're just walking in the grass, replicating that snow and learning how to climb. And yeah, eventually we summited in the Lobuche, which is 6,200 meter peak, and then from there, it just started for me. It was amazing, man. We were in the summit quite early in the morning, and then as the sun was coming out, it leads the whole of the Himalayan range. You can see the Everest, the Lhotse, the Nimsdai, and all that range, and yeah, and you just feel like you're standing above the clouds and all that. Of course, you get like fresh cold air hitting your face, and you just feel so fresh as well. But at the same time, you also worry about, now I have to go back down and all that. So yeah, you are like all your senses are so alive at that moment. I think it's such a good experience.
You ended up then climbing Everest at a later date. The first time you tried to climb it, was it solo?
Yeah, so I tried to do that in 2016, and it wasn't even planned. It was the opportunity came in when my leave from normally we get like 3 weeks leave between the operational tour and all that, but we got like 4 weeks leave, and I was like, I cannot just go and go on a beach holiday and do not do anything or achieve nothing. So I was like, what can I do? But at that same time, Everest was on. So I convinced my wife and went to the bank, told them I need a loan to buy a car, and then got 15,000 pounds. I still remember it at the interest rate of 3.9%. And emptied my saving, and I went to Nepal, and then it was another crazy experience there. Yeah.
When we sat down with Nimsdai, he was going to do the K2 winter, and I cannot talk about his composure. He was a few days out, all his gear was in his kitchen, and he was just about ready to go to climb K2 in winter, which, if anybody had known at the time, had never been done before. So Nim's mentality on climbing Everest, climbing these mountains, is very, very interesting and something to be motivated and inspired by. Today's video was made possible at mulliganbrothers.com, where you can get the t-shirts, hoodies, and the journals, and the new Momentum Ori poster. Use code STOIC at checkout for 10% off. But before that, the best part of this story with Nimsdai.
I was almost a month behind in the rest of the season's mountaineer. Most of the people were waiting for the summit bead and all that. And I was trying to do it solo, so I was trying to carry all my oxygens and everything by myself and all that. So yeah, and what happened was, at the end I got like altitude sickness, which is HAPE. That's high altitude pulmonary edema. That's water in the lungs. Then I was so angry with myself, with all this knowledge, because at that point I had climbed Dhaulagiri already, the world's 7th highest mountain. I was in a mountain cell within the SBS. So I was like, all this knowledge, and it's like, yeah. But it's about sometimes not knowing your body enough, and you're pushing a bit more, and then that's what it leads into those kind of incidents. But then what I did was I came down to Lukla. There's more detail in the book, obviously, just to keep it very short. I tried to believe myself that I can heal, and my thought process was, if you got a same patient in the hospital with the same illness, the one who has got a positive mindset, the one who believes that he can heal better, will get better. So I was kind of like self-meditating, thinking that I can get better, and eventually, you know, I was 95% okay. And that's when, you know, I didn't only summit. That's when the rescue happened, and this rescue was, you know, particularly a huge role in my life. You know, it played a massive role. So as I was coming down around 8,450 meters, a climber was, you know, she was left behind by the team and the guides. So yeah, and I decided to, you know, rescue her alone, and it took me 90 minutes to rescue from balcony down to Camp 4. And at that point I handed to the rescue team, and just to give you an example, the rescue team took 2 days to bring her from Camp 4 to Camp 2. So that was like, you know, and then at that point I realized, wow, if I have this oxygen at 8,000 meter, I can save someone's life like that. So even though my goal was to climb in all this mountain without oxygen, at that point I realized it wasn't about the ego and all. So I changed my kind of, you know, like style. But yeah, so and then within 4 days of, you know, summiting Everest, I was in operation kicking doors. So, and nobody knew at this point other than my wife.
What were some of the records that you broke?
So many I can't remember. The biggest I broke definitely was, you know, climbing all the 14 highest mountain in just 6 months, 6 days, breaking the previous record of nearly 8 years. The second one is I climbed Everest, Lhotse and Makalu, this time in just under 48 hours. The other one I can remember is I climbed all the mountain of Pakistan. You know, Pakistan mountain was really tough, and in just 23 days. And I didn't sleep for 90 days almost, and it was tough, man. But yeah, as I say, you know, nothing is impossible. I keep saying as well, and against anything, motivation isn't good enough. You need to be self-motivated. If there is somebody else motivating you and you try to achieve that, that's fake. It's not true. You need to bring that energy from your chest by yourself, and then only you become then you become not everybody. You'll be somebody. And if you want to, and that's the difference, because the population of the earth is 8 billion. And if you want to be that 1 in 8 billion, you got to work for it. No?
Thank you so much to Nims for doing this video. He obviously had a very, very busy schedule and he's slotted us in, so I cannot thank him enough. His bravery, his attitude in the face of death, pretty much, is something that can be a huge inspiration to anybody. So if you enjoyed the video, please head down and follow Nims on Instagram. If you want to support us, do more projects like this, head over to mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now get the new Memento Mori poster. It's a reminder that you are going to die. It's an acceptance of death. There's loads of squares on there that you fill in up until your age. Each one represents a week of your life, and then you fill in a new one each week. And you know, one day on there somewhere, there's a square that won't be filled in. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Use code STOIC at checkout for 10% off, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.